The most I've made in a week as a business owner after paying myself as well as paying all of the expenses of the business was around $20,000, which is pretty insane. I run a business in Tacoma, Washington. I was in college and then I graduated from the University of Indianapolis back in 2020. Originally, I had a job lined up to relocate to New York because my major was in painting and ceramics and I had a business minor. But then COVID happened, so everything got shut down, unfortunately. I was trying to scramble. I was working at Chipotle as well as Panera just to kind of make ends meet. I was just looking for sales and marketing experience and I just fell in love with the career after that. It's a funny story. So I always used to see the TV commercials on like Nickelodeon, Disney, and they would do like that 30-second clip of like painting and drawing like the characters. And I was always fascinated by how quickly they do it. I used to take classes to figure out how to get better at it. And then my mom, as well as some of my teachers at the time, was like, hey, you really have a gift with it. I think you should go to school for it. I ended up graduating with that degree. And then the president of the university actually bought one of my paintings. And then, like I said, COVID just shut everything down. But now it's not as much stress because in school, they make you have these deadlines, which is totally fine, but it kind of took out of the fun for me. So now, especially now that I have the free time to not only run my business, but also do art on the side, it's more of a luxury now, which is what I appreciate. So when I changed total career paths, my mom, she was very hesitant. She was the type of person like, Tim, are you okay? Like, are you sure this is where you want to go? Your grandpa, he works at the fire department. We can get you a job only working 3 days a week. It is a little harder, but 24-hour shifts. And I was like, I don't know. I just want to do my own thing when it comes to like, I know I'm meant to help people. So let me see where this goes and just trust in it. And, I just fell in love with the people. The culture is the biggest thing that I love. And seeing people that don't have the opportunity to be able to go to school and they come in entry level and be able to really succeed as long as they are excited about growth, working hard, as well as just meeting their dreams. I know my biggest thing that really hindered me was I was a perfectionist. So coming from an art background, I always used to want things very detailed, very to the point, as well as very organized. And then coming to a new career where I wasn't used to the sales, where I wasn't used to marketing, where I wasn't used to management, it took me a little bit of time to really adjust. So I feel like the mentorship that was given to me really helped me because it allowed me to fail forward. And I feel like if anybody has that type of mindset, they can really succeed. The coolest thing personally that I've been able to do since owning my own business, first year in business, I got a chance to pay off all of my debt, credit card debt, which is huge. And then since I had a pretty good first year, I was able to buy my dream car, which is a Tesla. And then I got a chance to skydive in Hawaii, which is pretty cool. I had $15,000 worth of credit card debt from college, and I was able to pay that off within my first year owning my business. It was very humbling too, because it's like, I worked so hard. So to be able to have that skill set immediately pay off within like 2 months was not only fulfilling, but it was just like, I really am in the right industry. It probably would have taken me realistically about 4 years to pay off that kind of debt, because at that point I would have been having to work more of like the commission style on the art side. So I would have had to wait for people to come to me versus us have the foot traffic that these retailers have and things like that. So I'm blessed to be able to even be here, to be honest with you. There was a little support in the art industry, but it was because of the professors that I had in undergrad. But long-term wise, I would have had to realistically pay for more mentors and things like that, pay for the studio space to be able to do what I wanted to do. So it would have been an investment on my side to be able to continue to grow an art business. The best advice I've ever been given personally is just trust the process. Everybody runs their own race. Don't try to make comparisons because everybody is different. Especially for me early on, I know I always used to compare myself to the people around me. So just as long as you work hard, as long as you network, as long as you just have a good attitude, realistically, you will go far in our industry or any industry, but specifically ours, which was what I used every day whenever I used to get hit with negatives. So there was one point in my career where I got hit with a personal death in the family. And that was very hard for me to go through, but the way I got over it is I was just very transparent with my mentor. And that helped me feel so comfortable and calm, because having somebody that could have empathy for me, but also help me through the situation, I think that made me 10 times better as an individual, because she was like, hey, listen, family is very important to you, I care about your personal goals and I care about you as an individual. And we'll be here supporting you from afar, as well as if you need anything from me, call me. So I ended up taking a week off, went to the funeral and things like that. And then the support that I was welcomed with when I came back into the building, that's what really helped me get through tough times. And I was like, hey, if I have this type of support in my industry, there's nowhere I can go to find something like that, honestly. So that is what I would say on dealing with negatives. I know for me early on, especially when I started my own business, I think the biggest book that helped me was the 10X Rule, Grant Cardone, because it just taught you how to think a little differently. I know for me personally, sometimes people can get acclimated to playing victim in a lot of different scenarios. And the way he talks about just like dealing with negatives, just in business, but just in life, there's nothing that you can't get through as long as you just 10X your mentality. So like double down, triple down on your goals, double down, triple down on like the negatives, and you're gonna be able to get over it. So that's one book that I personally like. Well, one goal I had this year, I wanted to go to Hawaii to skydive. So I already knocked that off the bucket list. It was insane. So I know literally we got a chance to skydive at sunset, and I got a chance to skydive in Arizona 4 years ago. And when I jumped out the plane, all I saw was just dirt. And I was like, oh, this is cool. So I promised myself, I was like, hey, within 4 years, I'm gonna go to Hawaii to do it. The first time I went, I was first to go. So my friend was like, hey, listen, when you jumped out, my anxiety started to kick in. That's what he told me. And this time when I went to Hawaii, I was the last person to go. So like everybody's like, jumping out. And then I'm just like, okay, we're here. And then my instructor, I told him we already skydived before. So he was like, oh yeah, you're a professional. We're just gonna open the door. You're gonna look down though. So I looked down and then we just jumped out, and it was the best view I've ever seen. The view of the mountains, of the water is definitely something that I really appreciated. The thrill I get from being in business is like when I take a rejection or something like that, I just use it as an opportunity to get better. I know sometimes we deal with customers or members that are like, oh, not today, or they're like, no, leave me alone kind of thing. And I know for me personally, I get excited about the next opportunity. So that adrenaline when you hit like your first sale or your first wall, or one of my team members, they deal with their first negative, I get excited because it gives me a chance to help them get through it. I would say the conversation I would have with 10-year-old version of myself is just keep doing what you're doing, keep that strong perseverance, keep that strong work ethic, keep that great positive attitude that I know you have every single day, and then just keep pushing forward. Don't let anybody neg you out. Don't let anybody ruin your dreams, and just keep pushing forward. You have great things ahead of you. I would say some financial advice I would give just like any person watching this is please live beneath your means. So I know a lot of people, there's a study that shows 60% of people that don't stress about money live longer. For me personally, especially in an industry like this, I know I tell any person that I work with, hey, as long as your bills are covered, use a reward system instead of spending money that you get. So especially in sales, sometimes you have the opportunity to make as much money as possible, but also people just are trained to spend that money as soon as they get it. And I recommend anybody that is watching this, saving is more cool than spending. So I know for me personally, in our industry, very quickly, within my first 3 months, I saved like $10,000 just from working, instead of being like my friends that were like going to the bars, going out all the time and things like that. I would use tactics like, hey, listen, I can reward myself when I get to a certain financial goal. And I feel like for me, that's personally how I was able to save so much in a lot shorter time, because I was very disciplined. I was very, motivated to save instead of like spend, and invest versus spend. So those are some financial advices I would give to individuals watching this today. The most I've made in a week as a business owner, after paying myself as well as paying all of the expenses of the business, was around $20,000, which is pretty insane.